Hi everyone. Today's card, I basically found some what I'm going to call leftovers. So last year when I was working on Halloween projects, and sometimes I was just playing around with backgrounds and you know, embossing and inking and paint and all that sort of stuff. I found that I didn't use them. I just kind of put them to one side thinking, oh, I'll use them for something. And then when I was having a bit of a clear out of my craft room, I found that I have these leftovers, that's what I'm going to call them, and I wanted to do something with them. Now for this and the next card, I'll just quickly show you these two. I wanted to explain them before I carried on, but first of all, the DSP that's here and the die that I used for this were in the previous holiday catalogue from Stampin' Up. So they're no longer available, but if you have the Halloween night excuse me, Halloween night DSP papers and the Halloween scene edgelets, I think that's what it's called, dies, then you'll be able to do this. But you could do this with any die. That it doesn't matter what the die is, it's just the technique behind it. So I'm not going to show you the technique as such, but I'm just going to explain it quickly. What I wanted was, I wanted two different, these are double-sided papers, so that's why there's two of them here. But what I wanted was, I wanted the inlay to be a different colour to the piece that cut out. So what I did is I had two pieces that were the same size, and I lay the die on one of them, die cut it out, saved both pieces. So you've got the bit with the tree on it, and you've got this piece that would be your waist, right? And I saved both, and then I cut another piece from different paper. If you had two different colours, you would only need to do this on two bits of cardstock, but I actually ended up, because I wanted to flip them, I landed up with having to do it twice, I think, something like that. Anyway, and I had to reverse the, oh, that's what I had to do, I had to turn the tree over because I had the wrong pattern and all that. Anyway, so if you use two different colour pieces of cardstock, you're fine. And then all you're doing is you're taking, so say you're taking this piece, that's the essentially the offcut, you'll then match it up with the piece that you've cut out in a different colour this side, and you will stick them into each other, and they'll fit like puzzle pieces. If it's really detailed, you just need to take your time, but they will fit together. And so that's basically what that is. And you can, like I say, you can do that with any die. It doesn't have to be this die, you can do it with anything. It should work the same way. So I just thought I'd explain that quickly. But because I had these pieces left and I didn't know what to do with them, I thought, you know what, I need to make some birthday cards. And I thought, why not try and make a birthday card? This is just pumpkin pie colour with some what colour? Whisper white and basic grey. And the other things that I'm using is some Whisper white cardstock here, Whisper white cardstock here, and I used the Banners Framelits dies to die cut this. This is, I think, the second one, but I basically just used the size of the sentiment to work out the size banner that I would need. So that's that. I'm also using No Bones About It. I thought the colours being really bright, I thought they'd make great birthday cards, and I thought the dinosaurs would work really well with the tree. So and yes, I am a girl, but I do love dinosaurs and robots and stuff like that. So dinosaurs. Oh, and just so you know, the No Bones About It is a two-step stamping. So for those of you who don't know what that means, it means you have a solid image, and then you would stamp that in a lighter colour, and then over the top you would stamp the coordinating stamp in a darker colour over the top of that to create this two-tone look. With these ones you could have the solid image on its own and use some of the patterns to sort of create your own patterns on there, or you could use the bones, or you could use them separately, you know, all together, however you want to do it. excuse me. Also got some garden green, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that, and some VersaFine, just because that's the black ink I've got. I've got a piece of, I've got to try and remember the dimensions. This is 4 1/4 by 11, so that's kind of standard for me. Let's get some of the stuff out of the way. This piece is, it's 1/8 of an inch smaller, so it's 4 1/8, bigger, sorry. 4 1/8, smaller, not bigger. 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then this panel I cut down to 4 by 5. So there's going to be a tiny border around it as opposed to the normal sort of, I just thought the black would make it pop off the page. So we're going to put those pieces to one side, and the sentiment. We're going to work on this panel. I am going to use the Stampin' Majig, and the reason I'm going to do that is because I want to line this baby up, because I want a really solid image over this pattern, this, you know, where the lines meet, because there is a bit of texture here, so I want it to be really solid. So I'm going to use, is this the one I'm using on this one? Yeah. So I'm using this, oh, you can't see it so well, I don't think. The is it a Brontosaurus? And the bones. I'm going to do something a little bit different with the bones. So first of all, I want to get this stamped. So I'm going to take Stampin' Majig, slightly rough side up, into the corner of the Stampin' Majig itself, and take my black ink. I'm just going to do it this way. Just going to ink up the stamp. Again, this bit doesn't have to be perfect, because this is just your excuse me, like your rough guide kind of thing as to where he's going to be. So I've got him stamped there. Now I'm going to line him up. The only reason I'm lining it up like this is not to get the lining up bit, because I can do that on my own, that's not an issue. It's more because of what's going to happen next. So if I just somewhat get him where I want him, let's go about there and line that bit up. I have got a block on here just to hold that down, but you can use a you could also use a bit of, what am I trying to say, like repositionable adhesive. Just make sure I've got him well inky. I go in here. I'm not going to remove this just yet, so this is where it's going to be, it's going to prove to be fun. So do you see how it's not quite covered there? So that's why I don't want to move this piece, the Stampin' Majig. I want to re-ink him. Now you could do this in a Misty, but I don't have a Misty, so I thought, well, let's see if this works. And because I haven't moved the stamp positioner, Stampin' Majig, in theory it should hopefully just ink him up much better. He could probably do with another bit. It's only because of the pieces, you know, when you've inlaid them. So if I just press a bit more in that space, because they're clear, there you go. So now the whole area is solid, and that's what I wanted. So now I can move that. So for now, I'm going to, actually while I've got my ink out, because I need this to dry for a minute, I'm done with my Stampin' Majig. I'm just going to bring this little tag in. I'm done with him. And I've got this cute little saying, and it says, "Have a dinerific birthday." I thought that was funny. I'm just going to eyeball this. Ta-da! So that's that. So that's the black ink done. Excuse me. Now I'm going to show you the green. No, I'm not. I'm going to do that last because that's kind of a fun bit. So that's that bit. Let's just make sure this is dry. Right. What I want to do is I actually want to. So I'll find my spoon. Where's the spoon go? Oh, there it is. What I want to do is I want to emboss the bones over the top. I thought that'd be kind of cool, but because this is probably still wet, I just want to check. So if you just take your embossing powder over the top of, see, the entire thing is wet. So we obviously don't want that. No, it's obviously too wet. So I'm just going to rub this off just with a paintbrush, and then I'll dry it with a heat tool just really quickly, and I'll be back. I think I'll do that bit first, just make sure this is dry. But that's a good way to test if your area is dry, because everywhere that you put your oh, let me try something else actually. If I use my heat, no, not my heat tool, my embossing buddy, if I can get it. Didn't mean to do that, did I? Never mind. It will rub off, so it's not. Right, let's try that again. Making a mess now, guys. Isn't that the fun bit? So let's just see if all of it's gonna. See, it's still sticking. Right, so let me just dry it with a, like I say, with the heat tool, and then I'll come back. You're learning with me. Right, that still wasn't working. It's still really wet. So I guess if you do this sort of thing and you want to use an embossing powder over the top, you probably want to let this dry maybe overnight, just to be on the safe side, or at least an hour or so. But it won't dry, so not quick enough for the video. So what I was going to do was I was going to heat set this the bones over the top with some white embossing powder, just to give it quite an impact. But because that's not working, I'm going to use just a white craft pad. You can use the white craft pad, sorry, from Stampin' Up, or you can use I've got the Versacolor pigment in white. So let's try again, shall we? And hope that this works. Oh, what I want to do with this as well. Should I just eyeball it? Can I eyeball this one? Let's just eyeball this one. No, because I want to do... No, we're not yet. Yeah, we're going to eyeball it. Right, I'm just going to ink this up really, really well. And it's going to look really messy on this stamp. But don't worry. Now obviously if you were using a much lighter colour there, and then a darker one on top, you wouldn't have this problem. But because of what I was planning to do, yeah, that happened. Right, so let's see if I can do this. Get him somewhat straight on there. And this is also my first time doing this, so not two-step stamping, but using this stamp set, so hopefully this will work out nice. I think I've got him roughly on there. Should make sure I've got all the ink on there, just letting it sit there. Not really pressing at all, to be fair. Might look like it, but I'm not. Ta-da! That's kind of cool, actually. That turned out better than I thought it would. That's very cool. So funny. So on the next one I might change up how I'm going to do the actual dinosaur, just because this one didn't quite work out the way I planned it. Right, so onto this garden green. So garden green ink. This is from the Regals collection. And on this, in this stamp set, sorry, just get some of this stuff out of the way. There are leaves and footprints and extra things you can, like patterns you can put onto the dinosaur, so onto the solid image as opposed to the bones. And there's obviously sentiments, but there's also a little party hat, and I thought they'd be really cute just to have a little party hat on him. It's a him, this one. And I thought the green would work really well with colours, so hopefully my head won't get into this, but we'll just see. Can you see that? Oh, then that's funny. Yeah. Small things and all that. And it's just an odd bit of, you know, just an extra bit of colour. So I thought it was kind of cute. Right, let's put this together. So I'm going to put this to one side just so it can dry a little bit. This first colour does dry quite quickly, so other than the black, because we did put on, you know, we did put a lot of ink on there. But like this piece that we just stamped once is dry, so just so you know, don't let that put you off. So I'm just going to score this piece at 5.5. This is just Whisper White cardstock. I don't even know if I've said that before. This is Whisper White. This is our normal Whisper White, but you can get a thick Whisper White as well. This is basic black. Excuse me. Cardstock. So we've got that. So before I put that, I'm going to put this piece on here. You see it's going to have a tiny little border there. So I'm just going to, what's my adhesive? Yellow. What's going on? That's better. Oh, and just so you know, I backed these two pieces onto another piece of cardstock just so that I had something to actually glue them to. Otherwise you're just putting the pieces together, they're not going to have anything to actually stick to, if that makes sense. So let's see, this one here, like a so. Oh, sorry about that. And then this, I think I'm going to pop this one up. Just going to pop it up about there. Stampin' dimensionals, Stampin' dimensionals at least. Helps if I can talk properly. Yeah. Let's see. About there. It's quite nice because you've got like a gridded paper, so you can kind of line it up straight. I kind of feel like it needs something else on there though. But if this was a guy's card or a boy's card, maybe simple is better. Like, I don't know how much bling you'd want to put. I mean, I put anything on my cards, so I don't worry whether they're male or female, but I'm just thinking, excuse me, if this was for someone who maybe is not, you know, for a guy, maybe you want to keep it more simple. Oh, I should have cut this the other way. Never mind. Right, my new trick. Open your card up and turn it sideways or flat, and then line it up on this end so that you get an even border at the top when you close it. I know that sounds crazy, but I have had it where I've tried, well, as even as I can get it, where I've then try to line it up on the score line, and the score line's not necessarily, even though you've scored it, it's not necessarily going to be a really super straight line, you know, because you're bending the cardstock. So yeah, so I might leave it like that. So ta-da! Right, so on the inside, yeah, the inside. Oh, I'll need to clean this off quickly. Excuse me. Where are you? So just really quickly, I'll run through the Stampin' Scrub while I'm here. You have a wet side, dry side. I think my camera's going a bit funny, sorry. Our Stampin' Mist Cleaner works really, really well, guys. I've got to say, you know, big fan of it. And on the wet side, you just scrub. Dry side, dry. Perfectly clean stamp. Beautiful. So, what I thought I'd do on the inside of this, in the inside of the card, is dry, is I'll just use the green that just ties in the green. And I thought I'll just put just the little bones. Make sure I'm on the inside of the card. Just put him down here. Ta-da! Just a little something on the inside. And then, because I've got to start doing this now, I'm going to be putting, and I think everybody should, get yourself your, you know, your own handmade by stamp, and stamp all the cards that you make. So there you go. Very simple, but I think for like I say, for a guy or a you know, a boy's card, it's probably the way to go for them. You can also put another sentiment on the inside saying, you know, happy birthday or something. And then the back of the card just has your name. So there you go. Hope you've enjoyed that. Ooh, all over the place. Right, so hope you've enjoyed that, guys. Have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.